Good morning, guys. We are going to move on into our next chapter of the one and only Yvonne. So we are starting with chapter 5 today. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to read that together. Follow along as I am reading, guys. The Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. I live in a human habitat called the Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade. We are conveniently located off of I-95 with shows at 2, 4, 7, and 7, 365 days a year. Mac says that when he answers the trilling telephone. Mac works here at the mall. He is the boss. I work here too. I am the gorilla. At the Big Top Mall, a creaky music carousel spins all day, and monkeys and parrots live amid the merchants. In the middle of the mall is a ring with benches where humans can sit on their rumps while they eat soft pretzels. The floor is covered with sawdust made of dead trees. My domain is at one end of the ring. I live here because I am too much gorilla and not enough human. Stella's domain is next to mine. Stella is an elephant. She and Bob, who is a dog, are my dearest friends. At present, I do not have any gorilla friends. My domain is made of thick glass and rusty metal and rough concrete. Stella's domain is made of metal bars. The sun bear's domain is wood. The parrot's is wire mesh. 3 of my walls are glass. One of them is cracked, and a small piece about the size of my hand is missing from its bottom corner. I made the hole with a baseball bat Mac gave me for my 6th birthday. After that, he took the bat away, but he let me keep the baseball that came with it. A jungle scene is painted on one of my domain walls. It has a waterfall without water, flowers without scent, and trees without roots. I didn't paint it, but I enjoy the way the shapes flow across my wall, even if it isn't much of a jungle. I am lucky my domain has 3 windowed walls. I can see the whole mall and a bit of the world beyond. The frantic pinball machines, the pink billows of cotton candy, the vast and treeless parking lot. Beyond the lot is a freeway where cars stampede without end. A giant sign at its edge beckons them to stop and rest like the gazelles at a watering hole. The sign is faded, the colors bleeding, but I know what it says. Mac read its words aloud one day. Come to the Big Exit 8 Big Top Mall and Video Arcade, home of the one and only Ivan Mighty Silverback. Sadly, I cannot read, although I wish I could. Reading stories would make a fine way to fill my empty hours. Once, however, I was able to enjoy a book left in my domain by one of my keepers. It tasted like termite. The freeway billboard has a drawing of Mac in his clown clothes and Stella on her hind legs, and an animal with fierce eyes and unkempt hair. The animal is supposed to be me, but the artist made a mistake. I am never angry. Here's a picture of what that sign looks like. Anger is precious. A silverback uses anger to maintain order and to warn his troop of danger. When my father beat his chest, it was to say, beware, listen, I am in charge. I am angry to protect you, because that is what I was born to do. Here, in my domain, there is no one to protect. All right, guys, so that was the entirety of chapter 5. Let's go ahead. We're going to work on our vocabulary first. So we're going to click back to the reader. Here is domain. So, here we go. Domain is an area of territory owned or controlled by a ruler or government. So for my lovely friend Yvonne here, I'm certain that he sees himself as the ruler of his little area. And then unkempt, having an untidy or disheveled appearance. So for my friends who are working on this independently, you can go ahead, pause that video while I have the definitions up and type those into your workbook. But I'm going to go ahead and just read you each of the questions. You guys can pause the video so that you can type in your answers on your own. So for chapter 5, our first question is, where does Yvonne live and work? Who is his boss? What do you think Yvonne's opinion of humans is, and why? What do you think Yvonne's opinion is of humans, and why? What do you think Yvonne means by I am too much gorilla and not enough human? What do you think Yvonne means by I am too much gorilla and not enough human? Who are Yvonne's dearest friends? Who are Yvonne's dearest friends? What is Yvonne's jungle missing? What is Yvonne's jungle missing? How does Yvonne describe a bit of the world that he can see? How does Yvonne describe a bit of the world that he can see? How did Yvonne enjoy the book left to him? How did Yvonne enjoy the book left to him? How is the billboard wrong? Why do you think it is designed this way? How is the billboard wrong? Why do you think it is designed this way? Why is Yvonne not angry? Why is Yvonne not angry? All right, guys, for those of you working independently at home, remember if you need to skip back to the questions to hear them again, you can pause after I read them to answer the question, or you may pause now. When you're ready to move forward, you guys can go ahead and start my video back up. All right, guys, I am getting started with the littlest big top on earth. My neighbors here at the Big Top Mall know many tricks. They are an educated lot, more accomplished than I am. One of my neighbors plays baseball, although she's a chicken. Another drives a fire truck, although he's a rabbit. I used to have a neighbor, a sleek and thoughtful seal who could balance a ball on her nose from dawn till dusk. Her voice was like the throaty bark of a dog chained outside on a cold night. Children wished on pennies and tossed them into her plastic pool. They glowed on the bottom like flat copper stones. The seal was hungry one day, or bored perhaps, so she ate 100 pennies. Max said she'd be fine. He was mistaken. Mac calls our show the littlest big top on earth. Every day at 2, 4, and 7, humans fan themselves, drink sodas, applaud. Babies wail. Mac, dressed like a clown, pedals a tiny bike. A dog named Snickers rides on Stella's back. Stella sits on a stool. It is a very sturdy stool. I don't do any tricks. Max says it's enough for me to be me. Stella told me that some circuses move from town to town. They have humans who dangle on ropes twining from the tops of tents. They have grumbling lions with gleaming teeth and a snaking line of elephants, each clutching the limp tail in front of her. The elephants look far off into the distance, so they won't see the humans who want to see them. Our circus doesn't migrate. We sit where we are like an old beast too tired to push on. After our show, humans forge through the stores. A store is where humans buy things they need to survive. At the big top mall, some stores sell new things, like balloons and t-shirts and caps to cover the gleaming heads of humans. Some stores sell old things, things that smell dusty and damp and long forgotten. All day I watch humans scurry from store to store. They pass their green paper, dry as old leaves and smelling of 1,000 hands, back and forth and back again. They hunt frantically, stalking, pushing, grumbling. Then they leave, clutching bags filled with things, bright things, soft things, big things. But no matter how full the bags, they always come back for more. Humans are clever indeed. They spin pink clouds you can eat. They build domains with flat waterfalls. But they are lousy hunters. All right, guys, that was chapter 6. Let's go ahead and start with our vocabulary. So we have migrate and forage. So we're going to go back. We're going to see if we can find the words migrate and forage. All right, guys, here is the word migrate. So let's highlight it. So the definition for migrate, right? To move from one region or habitat to another. From moving from one region or habitat to another. Here's forage. To search widely for food or provisions. Search widely for foods or provisions. All right, remember you guys can go back, skip back, and pause if you didn't get to type them all the way. I'm going to go ahead and review the questions with you guys now. Who are Yvonne's neighbors and what are their talents? Who are Yvonne's neighbors and what are their talents? What happened to the seal? What happened to the seal? Why do you think Mac feels it is enough for me to be me? Why do you think Mac feels it is enough for me to be me? What is a green paper that Yvonne sees and smells humans pass back and forth? What is the green paper that Yvonne sees and smells humans pass back and forth? How does Yvonne think humans are clever? What are they bad at? How does Yvonne think humans are clever? What are they bad at? So remember, guys, you can go back, listen to me rereading those questions, pause if you need to in between. We're going to move on to the next chapter. So our next chapter is Gone. Some animals live privately, unwatched, but that is not my life. My life is flashing lights and pointing fingers and uninvited visitors. Inches away, humans flatten their little hands against the wall of glass that separates us. The glass says you are this and we are that, and that is how it will always be. Humans leave their fingerprints behind, sticky with candy, sleek with sweat. Each night, a weary man comes to wipe them away. Sometimes I press my nose against the glass. My nose print, like your fingerprint, is the first and last and only one. The man wipes the glass, and then I am gone. All right, guys, let's go ahead. Weary is our vocabulary word. Weary is our vocabulary word. So here is the word weary. Feeling or showing tiredness, especially as a result of excessive exertion or lack of sleep. So Miss Wolf would categorize herself as weary all of the time. Feeling or showing tiredness. That would be the main piece that you would need there. Remember, you guys can go back and pause that. I'm going to go over the 2 questions for this baby short chapter. What message does the glass send according to Yvonne? What message does the glass send according to Yvonne? How do you think Yvonne means by the man wipes the glass and then I am gone? What do you think Yvonne means by the man wipes the glass and then I am gone? All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and we are going to move on to artist. Here in my domain, I do not have much to do. You can only throw so many meatballs at humans before you get bored. A meatball is made by rolling up dung until it is the size of a small apple, then letting it dry. I always keep a few on hand. For some reason, my visitors never seem to carry any. In my domain, I have a tire swing, a baseball, a tiny plastic pool filled with dirty water, and even an old TV. I have a stuffed toy gorilla too. Julia, the daughter of the weary man who cleans the mall each night, gave it to me. The gorilla has empty eyes and floppy limbs, but I sleep with it every night. I call it not Tag. Tag was my twin sister's name. Julia is 10 years old. She has hair like black glass and a wide half-moon smile. She and I have a lot in common. We are both great apes, and we are both artists. It was Julia who gave me my first crayon, a stubby blue one, slipped through the broken spot in my glass along with a folded piece of paper. I knew what to do with it. I'd watched Julia draw. When I dragged the crayon across the paper, it left a trail in its wake, like a slithering blue snake. Julia's drawings are wild with color and movement. She draws things that aren't real, clouds that smile and cars that swim. She draws until her crayons break and her paper rips. Her pictures are like pieces of a dream. I can't draw dreamy pictures. I never remember my dreams. Although I sometimes awaken with my fists clenched and my heart hammering. My drawings seem pale and timid next to Julia's. She draws the ideas in her head. I draw the things in my cage. Simple items that fill my days. An apple core, a banana peel, a candy wrapper. I often eat my subjects before I draw them. But even though I draw the same things over and over and over again, I never get bored with my art. When I'm drawing, that's all I think about. I don't think about where I am, about yesterday or tomorrow. I just move my crayons across the paper. Humans don't always seem to recognize what I've drawn. They squint, cock their heads, murmur. I'll draw a banana, a perfectly lovely banana, and they'll say, it's a yellow airplane, or it's a duck without wings. That's all right. I'm not drawing for them. I'm drawing for me. Max soon realized that people will pay for a picture made by a gorilla, even if they don't know what it is. Now I draw every day. My work sells for $20 a piece, $25 with a frame, at the gift shop near my domain. If I ever get tired and need a break, I eat my crayons. So here is some of those pictures that he's drawn with the crayons. All right, guys, let's go ahead and look at our vocabulary. So our vocabulary word is timid. Timid is showing a lack of courage or confidence, easily frightened. So go ahead, you can go back and pause my video to write your answer in here. I'm going to read through our questions real quick for you. What is a meatball? Why do you think Yvonne creates and throws them? What did Julia give to Yvonne? Why did Yvonne name it what he did? What did Julia give to Yvonne? What did Yvonne name it what he did? What do Julia and Yvonne have in common? Why do you think Yvonne describes Julia as great ape? Explain. Why do you think Julia and Yvonne's pictures vary so much? Why doesn't Yvonne care if humans recognize his drawings or that they pay for them? So guys, you can go back, pause, type in your answers here. We're going to read the last 2 chapters super quick. So our next chapter is Shapes in Clouds. I think I've always been an artist. Even as a baby, still clinging to my mother, I had an artist's eye. I saw shapes in the clouds and sculptures in the tumbled stones at the bottom of the stream. I grabbed at colors. The crimson flower just out of reach. The ebony bird streaking past. I don't remember much about my early life, but I do remember this. Whenever I got the chance, I would dip my fingers into cool mud and use my mother's back for a canvas. She was a patient soul, my mother. All right, our words are crimson and ebony here, guys. Crimson and ebony. Here is crimson. So crimson of a rich, deep red color inclining to purple. And ebony. Ebony, heavy blackish or very dark brown timber, mainly from a tropical tree. We usually use this in terms of the color, which is a very dark brown or black color. Our single question for this chapter is, what does Yvonne remember about his early life? What does Yvonne remember about his early life? So remember, you guys can go back, pause this video. I'm going to go ahead. When you're ready to read the last chapter for today, go ahead and press play. Imagination. Someday, I hope I can draw the way Julia draws, imagining worlds that don't yet exist. I know what most humans think. They think gorillas don't have imaginations. They think we don't remember our pasts or ponder our futures. Come to think of it, I suppose they have a point. Mostly I think about what is, not what could be. I've learned not to get my hopes up. So for our last chapter here, we have ponder. Our vocab word was ponder. I literally just had it. There we go. So ponder, think about carefully, especially before making a decision. To think about carefully. Our last question for today says, Yvonne says, I hope someday I can draw imagining worlds that don't exist yet. What do you think he means by this? Go ahead, type your answers, guys, and then submit this when you are done with all of those answers.